AskReddit by Bernadette Swansonged. What are facts about your country, which foreigners do not usually know about? National animal is the unicorn. Not joking. Years ago I was playing a trivia game with my husband, using our Google Home thingy. It asked me what is the national animal of Scotland. I immediately responded unicorn and my husband started to get cranky and accused me of not taking the game seriously. Boy was he surprised when the device said correct. Instant vindication. Canada is a well-known place for animation. A lot of us studios farm out work here and it's subsidized by the provincial governments. The standards for children's animation is high and is easily exportable to other countries. Also for video game development, film production, and special effects, which have a lot of overlap with animation, naturally. Brazil actually have strong laws against crime. We are just incapable of enforcing them. I think most Brazilians doesn't know this either. Same with Mexico, especially with feminicides which almost always go unsolved and with no culprits : I feel like too few people are really prepared for how fast the Australian sun will burn them when they get off the plane. If your SPF isn't 50+ it might as well go in the bin. Retirement in Australia is basically skin cancer treatments. Slip slip slap people. This is the same in NZ, except it happens at way cooler temperature. New Zealand is colder than people expect. Also farther away from Australia than many assume. Many people in the US do not carry firearms. A few years ago I asked a postdoc from China what he was expecting and he seriously told me he was really scared the first day he landed and kept looking to see if he was going to get shot at. Even while here for a few months he was in constant fear for the university was in probably one of the safest place in the US. Haha. I still remember that conversation BC, it was so wild. Most of the haggis sold for meat are farmed in Wales. Wild Scottish haggis are practically extinct. Also in Wales haggis outnumbers people 3-1. It only ever reached 2-1 at its peak in Scotland. We love tree juice. Oh we know. Honduras is essentially just Mexico and Brazil but a bad knockoff. Our national animal is not native to our country and can't even be found in the wild here. It was chosen symbolically centuries ago due to its significance in local folklore and has remained an integral part of our national identity ever since. Unicorn in Scotland? That we don't consider ourselves Latinos. Mostly because what we usually call Latinos would actually mean Hispanic and we speak Portuguese. Edit. Just to be clear, I'm talking about Brazilians in general. I do think we're Latinos, it's just we usually think of Hispanics when talking about Latinos. I studied history of the Americas in college and one fact always stuck with me. Spain and Portugal discover South America, right? And they're like, well, shoot, how do we divvy this up without fighting? I know. Pick a longitude. Everything east of that is Portugal's and everything west is Spain's. Great. Pick the longitude. Only thing east of it was Brazil. Spain got everything else. Sucked for Portugal, I guess, but it made me chuckle, at least. The autobahn is just a mundane part of everyday life many of us don't really think about, and speed limits do exist. Yeah, I got to drive on the autobahn a couple years ago, and for the majority of it the speed limit was lower than what I drive in the US. Also it's like playing a video game with constant changing speed limits and changing lanes due to construction. Lol, you really have to pay attention. We have a day dedicated to celebrating a national defeat rather than a victory. It's a solemn remembrance of a pivotal battle lost hundreds of years ago, which significantly shaped our national identity. It's a day of reflection on resilience and the unity of our people in the face of adversity. Okay, but why do we gamble on coin tosses about it? Singapore has entire clusters of crammed foreign worker housing out in the fringes of the city in industrial areas, at the edge of forests, and along the sea. I always did wonder what went on outside of the tourist bubble of Chinatown and everything in that part of the city. Our elderly care is abysmal. Nursing homes in us costs $8.15k a month and most insurance companies don't cover it. Don't be old, kids. I had a friend who worked in care in the UK for a while. The going rate is pretty much the same as what you described for the US, but all the care workers get paid jack shit. Often not even minimum wage, with how devious and corrupt a lot of the managers in the industry are. Speaking anecdotally from my friend who worked under 3 different employers in 3 far apart areas, where in all cases he was cheated out of a significant portion of his minimum wage salary. If a vital social infrastructure like elder and disabled care can afford to have profits, and huge ones at that fundamentally means it would be a better service in the hands of a non-private or non-profit organization. Good lord, write the country in the same post please. No, it's fun guessing. The Italian national animal is the wolf, yes, but it's usually not specified that it's the female wolf. From the ancient Roman legend, we have the biggest Japanese community outside Japan. Brazil? Australia has 15 ski resorts, though by international standards they are pretty lame and expensive. We officially recognize a national day of silence where, for 24 hours, no noise is made, no work is done, and the streets are empty. It's a day for reflection, meditation, and resetting spiritually. While it might sound like a dystopian novel to outsiders, it's a deeply respected tradition that beautifully illustrates our cultural emphasis on balance and introspection. Where is this? We aren't all fat slobs. Speak for yourself. As a Canadian, I cannot stress this enough. Do not approach the geese if you value your life. Till that while American geese are devil birds, Canadian geese are built different. In World War I Canada interned Japanese people. Many people don't know this, but what is now Strathcona and East Vancouver used to be Japantown, which was a bustling Japanese community. They were taken from their homes and businesses. In fact, if you visit some of the buildings in Vancouver's Pacific National Exhibition, PNE, you're visiting the very buildings they slept in, hundreds of cots, lined up with no privacy. People in the United States are very diverse. A lot of people, especially on social media, make frequent comments about what Americans are like. Not only are we not all the same, but the differences between people from different regions can be huge. That we burned the White House down. And most of the Geneva checklist exists because of your antics in WW1.